I do appreciate and support the tone of this letter, and will support signing it. But I just felt it's important to just again stress that we are a local entity, nonpartisan. Our job is to take care of our residents and not pick fights. So, and this is just, I know this could be misconstrued as not picking a fight. I don't want to use the wrong words here, but I just again want to reaffirm that this council cares, the city cares. Nothing has changed.